What is up, office workers and interns? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are returning to the slice of life universe that is Office Worker Haman-sama. Last time, Haman got 2 new employees, the Puru twins, who ruined her bath night. She also met Camille, and they reluctantly traded business cards. This time, Haman will go out with Camille. Her company heads out of town for a work trip, and Haman makes out with Chara. So let's get into this. Haman is at an office party getting down on some Palestine wine. Mashima is there as well, watching her get drunk. He tries to impress her by taking her home. As they take a taxi back to Axis Mansion, Haman passes out and leans on him. She begins muttering the name Chara. He has an idea. Mashima takes out a black marker and blacks out his glasses to make him look like Chara's shades. Now that he looks like Chara, he is certain to get Haman to like him. She then begins muttering the words, "Kill Chara." Maybe pretending to be Chara is a bad idea. Haman is on the train and has one side of the train car to herself. However, across from her happens to be Judo's friends. It is Bicha and Elle. They seem to be having an argument. Elle is mad that Bicha went to a party without telling her. Haman and Chara happen to be at that party. He doesn't seem to recognize her. Elle is upset at him. Haman, who had a whole side of a train car to herself, is now suffocating from all the cringe in the train car. The cringe is too much for her to bear. She has to find a way to escape. The couple make up and apologize to one another right as they make it to Haman's stop. She escapes while telling the two to be quiet on the train. She has finally found the freedom from the cringe. Later at work, Chara wonders if those boys from last time will join them for drinks again. Haman wants nothing to do with those losers. Sarah notices that Haman keeps it tight and asks her if she works out. She tells her that she really isn't into that kind of thing. Of course, she is lying to her. Haman goes home later and does some crunches. Now that she is 30, she doesn't want to lose any energy and started working out routinely. She does some squats and says that her butt meat is weighed down by gravity. She is dead from all the sets she did, but she has to reward herself with some Garma Shop shortcake and some Zionic beer. She needs to do her best again tomorrow. At work the next day, Char says she looks different. I'm not sure if the joke is her hard work is paying off or that her rewards are running her workouts. Haman is attending Hinken and Emma's wedding. Emma and Haman were old college friends. She congratulates the two. However, she is actually quite jealous. She drowns herself in champagne. Char comes over and compliments her on her dress. She wonders why he is here. Char happens to be an old friend of the groom. He says that weddings like this make him feel really happy and envious. Her mind races to decipher what he meant by that. He asks if the two want to go somewhere that they could be alone. They head out of the venue. Char gets quiet before telling Haman that there is something that he couldn't say in front of everyone. Haman begins freaking out. Is he about to propose? She can't believe it. He gets in close and whispers in her ear, "The zipper on your back is open." She is mad that he didn't tell her earlier. He makes him zip it up and get her a drink as punishment. Char calls Haman, informing her that he has to work late today and can't meet up for drinks. She really wanted to drink and talk about her problems with someone. She calls Rekawa, but she has to be sober until her health checkup. She calls Chara, but she is out seeing her favorite band. She goes through all of her contacts and concludes that she doesn't have many friends outside of work. It begins raining. That is when Camille comes over with his umbrella. He wonders why she is fob squatting in the streets. Haman gets up and says, "Tonight is your lucky night. We are hanging out and getting drunk." Haman drops a lot of office gossip on Camille as they get drinks and Odin, which is a Japanese hot pot-like dish. The chef happens to be Segusa. Camille wonders if she has any friends. He is on to her. Haman says that Char has been active in her life and they were formerly dating. She tries to change the subject by asking Camille to give her some hot drama going on at his company. Camille happens to know that his boss, Bright, is having an affair. She couldn't believe that such an innocent-looking man could do such a thing. After their meal, Camille tells her not to invite him out again, but if she wants to complain, he would be open to finding his enemy's secrets. Haman wants to pay, but like last time, the two fight over the bill. Camille goes full autistic and says that she only went out because she is lonely and Char is the only lover she will ever have. He goes too far and apologizes. That is when Fa walks up. She said that Camille promised that he would get drinks with her after work, but his phone died. Camille doubles down on his autism and wonders why she cares so much and why she is so loud. Fa notices Haman and runs away, upset with him. Haman says that is cold, but Camille doesn't think he did anything wrong. Haman thinks to herself, oh, he's one of those very socially awkward autistics. Meanwhile, Segusa is still waiting for someone to pay for the bill. Haman is getting ready for work while listening to the news. The fortune teller, Sarasa Moon, says that Capricorns will have the worst luck today. Haman happens to be a Capricorn. She woke up with a bad pain in her neck, and now she has to work overtime due to a coworker. Things are not looking good for her today. The fortune teller says that the best way to ward off bad luck is to wear something different. Haman decides to go into work today wearing glasses. At first, she she doesn't think that it suits her. But the other girls in the office love it. Mashimer comes over to the office and says it was he who messed up yesterday. He happened to be able to fix the issue that they were having this morning. She doesn't have to work overtime now. Haman is mad that listening to the fortune teller actually worked. However, she is still mad at Mashimer, as he was the one who messed up in the first place. The next day, the fortune teller Sarasa tells her to wear a sailor outfit. It looks like she has no choice but to listen. At the Argama company, Fa is spying on Camille. Bright asks him if he could work overtime today. He yells at Bright saying, "Why do adults always do this?" Just like in Zeta. He tells Bright that he can't because he has 2 tickets to see Rosamia in concert tonight. Fa and Camille went to the same school together. Even Fa used to give Camille chocolates for Valentine's Day, but it seems that he accepted it out of autistic necessity. Remember, girls give guys chocolates on Valentine's Day, and a month later, there is a holiday called White Day where men reciprocate. Camille ends up inviting Fa to join her, as he happens to have 2 tickets. But she yells at Camille saying he always does these things last minute. Camille is too autistic and doesn't know what Fa is getting at, so he invites Taurus instead. Fa goes, "No, wait, no, I'm good, I'll come. Haman is enjoying a nice hot springs. But she is not alone. She is on an employee trip. Pudu comes up to her and starts a water fight. They are in a mixed hot springs and notice a guy in the distance. It happens to be Chara. Director Rackarin couldn't make it today, so he came in his place. As the two bicker, Sarah notes that they still make a great couple. Chara's about to tell them that they once dated, but Haman drowns him to prevent him from saying anything. Later, everyone goes to the arcade where there is a shooting range. Haman is going to get snacks while the rest play. But that's when she notices a prize at the shooting range. It is a mochi cube. She must win it for herself. She grabs a gun and begins playing. Haman spends a lot of money and gets a lot of prizes, but she can't get the mochi cube. She takes aim again and Char comes in to help her. She shoots and is able to win the prize. She says that she did it all by herself, and Char barely helped. Pudu and Pudu 2 say, "Nah, that was definitely Char." Chara and Haman go to get some snacks at the local shop. She reminds Chara that the company isn't reimbursing her for alcohol. They head back where everyone is enjoying games. Chara challenges Haman to a game of ping pong. Winner has to pay for the alcohol. She accepts the challenge. Haman was in the table tennis club back in the day. She gets the first point, but in the process, she twists her ankle. She's very embarrassed. Bashar comes over and picks her up, while Haman ices her ankle. The girls hang out and drink together. They all decide to talk about love and boys. Moar tells the gang that her boyfriend is currently unemployed and is struggling. Oh wow, is he sure handsome. She is talking about Jared. Haman thinks that she is into bad boys. Also, everyone's drink is a pun of some sort. We got Pudu Pudu Lemon, Rao Plum, and High Mega Zero. Sarah hints at the fact that she did something in the past to break Katz's heart. Pudu says that love is just a chemical in the brain and a waste of money. Pudu 2 says that she loves Pudu. Sarah asks about her relationship with Char. She is about to go into her past when Chara starts crying. She says, "I want to be loved as well. I don't care by who," and then begins making out with Haman. Meanwhile, the boys are just playing poker. Everyone is out on the town. They stop to pick up some sweets at Dom Dom Berry. Pudu wants to try one of Haman's strawberries. Haman turns around and says, "Have a bite," only for Char to be standing right there. He says, "Sure, I'll try some," but Haman tells him to get his own. The two take a break at a small bench. She notices that she is shifting her weight on one side and that her ankle is still in pain. He tells her that she shouldn't push herself too much. Char happens to notice the small things. He does also mention that he knows where one of her moles are. You know, the one close to her butt? She gets embarrassed. Sarah says that the spot they are sitting at happens to be a famous couple spot. She wants to take a picture of the two. Char says he will leave, but Haman tells him to stay. It's okay for them to take a picture every once in a while. As the gang head back to their city after their trip, Haman is reminded that being in a big group isn't so bad every once in a while. She gets home to realize that she forgot to clean her apartment. And that will do it for this episode of Office Worker Haman-sama. Haman still puts up a huge wall to make her seem less vulnerable than she truly is. I also love how oblivious they make Camille in this manga. They took his autism and turned it to 11. Next time, Haman will go visit Judo in the Kombini, but she finds Jiazan working instead. One of the Pudus goes streaking, and we flash back to a 12-year-old Haman, as well as a younger Garma and Isolina. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, don't let your butt be weighed down by gravity. Keep it tight. Peace.